Hello there, you're listening to the Sort Yourself Out podcast. This week, we're discussing how you can raise your awareness and improve the quality of your life. I'm your host, Janine Hunt, natural health therapist for over 30 years, hypnotherapist, lifelong learner, and student of the Ageless Wisdom. Here on the Sort Yourself Out podcast and in my Better Than Happy Zone membership, I teach powerful top-down techniques and practices so that you can master your mind and emotions, free yourself of what's holding you back, expand your consciousness, and nourish your soul. So let's get started. Well, hello there, and thank you so much for joining me today. This week, we're discussing how you can raise your awareness and how raising your awareness improves the quality of your whole life. So first of all, why do we want to raise our awareness, and what does it really mean? Well, it's about learning what's going on in your thought life and your emotional life. We want to be aware of the way we are relating to others and ourselves and the effect that we are having in the world. The Hermetic injunction, man, know thyself, is very important to helping us create a harmonious life and a harmonious world. It's also vital that we know ourselves if we want to move forward on the spiritual path. We need to be able to look at our own lives and what's holding us back, the issues that need resolving, and in the bigger picture, we need to really, and I mean really, come into the understanding of who we really are. On one level, divine beings here to demonstrate our divinity through this life here on earth. And on another level, we need to know and accept and act like we know the central truth that there really is only one life, one consciousness, and one soul, and that we are as cells in the body of this greater life. So individually, we have a responsibility for the health and well-being of our own cells, our body, and our mind. We also have a responsibility for the environment, the planet itself, and the lower kingdoms, that's the animal, vegetable, and mineral kingdoms. And humanity is the custodian of those. So in practical application, we have to relate to others as fellow cells, fellow travelers on the way with us, and always try to give them the love and respect to be accorded to a fellow divine being. So in raising our awareness, there are widespread implications and benefits, not just for our own well-being and quality of life, but that of the whole, the all-self, the whole damn thing. So one of the ways that we raise our awareness and know ourselves is by mastering our thought life, our emotions, by knowing what's going on betwixt the ears, and by only thinking those thoughts that are beneficial and that serve us and that serve the wider group. Now, most people have no idea that they can control their mind and emotions, but we can, and we just have to want to and then make the effort. And it can be a bit of an effort, I'm not going to lie. It can even be a big effort, an ongoing, lifelong effort. And that's because we've spent ages living on autopilot. We are so on autopilot, we're unaware we're on autopilot and that there's any alternative. And that's why it can be so hard to make a change in our lives. We're plugged into our habituated reactions, thoughts, and emotions. And all of these are based on the past, our past conditioning that we've picked up from family and teachers and society. And our past conditioning is the source of all that self-sabotaging we do that prevents us from making lasting change. Now, we're also conditioned by the entire race mind of humanity. This is the collective consciousness of humanity as a whole from the beginning of human time. And it's full of misguided shit, pardon my French, that we do not want to be living our lives by. We are even dealing with energies and traits and karma from past lives. So the more we can raise our awareness, the more impact we can have in clearing out those automatic patterns of thought, feeling, and behavior that don't serve us, not just in our current incarnation, but in the race mind of humanity, as well as in our future lifetimes. Nice! So all of this conditioning is taking place below the threshold of consciousness. That's why it's automatic. And that's why making change can be so hard. And why, when we decide to make a change, all goes well for a couple of weeks before, bam, we revert to our old ways. That means that we have a conflicting program running in our subconscious mind. And as I said, it has the power of deeply ingrained habits that have perhaps been in operation for decades, as well as centuries of misguided thinking contained in the race mind of humanity, as well as the karmic inclination from past lives. So that's a lot of power. But it's important to know that we don't have to be at the mercy of all of these automatic reactions through which we continue to perpetuate the past. Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So we need to bring all of that unconscious conditioning into our conscious minds. No more operating on autopilot. So that's where raising our awareness comes in. Now, raising our awareness is the first of the 3 phases of transformation. So here are the 3 phases of transformation. Phase number 1, raise your awareness. This phase involves us becoming aware of what is going on in the subconscious mind. Because believe me, as I discovered when I quit drinking, it can be an unholy mess in there. And until you shine a light on all the crap that's going on in there, you are at its mercy, and it will be a major source of self-sabotage. So phase number 1, raise your awareness. Phase number 2, liberate yourself. This phase is all about liberating ourselves from the unhelpful ideas and untrue suppositions and limiting beliefs that we discover lurking in our subconscious minds. And these are the things that are blocking our success and aspirations. So that's phase number 2, liberate yourself. And phase number 3, reprogram your mind. In this phase, we reprogram our minds at the subconscious level with the beliefs that facilitate lasting change. Now, there are 2 important aspects to this phase. 1, we choose the beliefs, the helpful, nourishing, and progressive beliefs that we are going to install in our minds. And 2, we use techniques and practices that make the mind receptive and that allow us to install the beliefs at the subconscious level where they will be accepted. This makes a huge difference to trying to install the beliefs from a conscious level. So the 3 phases of transformation are all about making the unconscious conscious, freeing ourselves from our hindrances, and then consciously choosing and installing at a deep level the beliefs that will uplift our well-being and help us to make the changes we want to make. It is transformation from the inside out, and that is the kind of transformation that works. So I call this a top-down approach. We are working from the highest part of our personality, our mind. We are raising our awareness on all levels. We're becoming more conscious. We're using the higher part of ourselves, the mind, to control the lower parts of ourselves, our emotional life with all its fears and worries and stress, and our physical existence as well. And physical issues are very often the result of our emotional natures. With top-down techniques, you learn to be the master of your mind rather than it controlling you. And this, my friend, is a biggie. Carl Jung also said that a conflict between two opposing forces or points of self-identification on the same level within the psyche is never resolved on that level. The solution comes in finding a higher point of synthesis or a higher point of self-identification which negates the lower conflict. So we manage emotional and physical issues by raising our awareness to the mental level. We manage issues on the mental level by bringing through higher spiritual energies. All of this takes intentional effort, though. We have to make it happen. We have to want to make it happen. We have to be ready to make it happen. And like I said earlier, this kind of work, this inner work, is the work of a lifetime. In fact, the ageless wisdom tells us that we will spend many lifetimes involved in this work, freeing ourselves from the grip of these age-old tendencies and habits that have dominated us individually and en masse through the race mind. So we might as well get started today, right? The good news is that although it can take lifetimes to free ourselves, we can notice an appreciable improvement in a very short time once we get started. And that's because top-down techniques help us not only to work on specific issues to improve our lives, but they create an exponential shift whose effects ripple out to uplift all areas of our lives through the higher awareness it generates. So I'm going to share with you today a short but powerful little practice to help you raise your awareness and, yes, improve the quality of your life and especially the quality of your relationships. It's called the evening review. It's really simple and only takes a few minutes. So do this every night for months, okay? Just keep doing it because you will keep learning and benefiting from it. So before you go to sleep at night, you spend 5 minutes or so casting your mind back over your day from the most recent time back to when you got up in the morning. You look at your actions, your conversations, your ways of relating to people, your reactions to others, your thoughts, and you recognize what was good about all of those things, as well as the not so good. Now, the purpose here is by no means to beat yourself up when you find stuff you're not so proud of. Your purpose is to recognize and observe. And believe me, the next time you're about to act in a way that you didn't like in a previous evening review, it will pop into your consciousness and you will be able to act more wisely and lovingly this time around. And that is good for your karma and for every single person that you come into contact with. This is a deceptively simple yet powerful little practice. It is a top-down technique where you're using a higher part of yourself, your mind, your consciousness, your inner knowing to manage the lower parts, that part of you that reacts with an automatic, snarky, and potentially hurtful response, the part of you that doesn't think before she speaks, or that takes offense so easily and then descends into anger or depression. So with this top-down approach of the evening review, you are raising your consciousness and evolving yourself. And that kind of awareness will create an exponential shift, and the effects will reverberate out to uplift all areas of your life as well as the lives of all of the people you come into contact with. That is the power of a top-down technique. And it creates a little slice of magic in your life by helping you to attain what is known in the ageless wisdom as the attitude of the detached observer. And how does it do that? Well, it does that in a lot of ways, but here are just a few. It takes you out of autopilot, revealing to you in the moment your knee-jerk, programmed, automatic reactions to triggers or people or circumstances that press your buttons. When you are aware, you can consciously choose your words and actions and create new, better, and higher results. You can recognize the negative beliefs and thought patterns that were previously unconscious. It also makes you more aware of cause and effect, shining light on how you are bringing about the situations and circumstances of your life, both positive and negative. This is huge. This is really knowing thyself. It also helps you to understand your motivations and if they are edifying or not. It helps you to cultivate mindfulness in daily life, and this itself is a biggie with far-reaching benefits, as your attention is focused on what is occurring in the present moment, so you can apply yourself to the needs of the moment and not be wrapped up in your own misery by regretting the past or fearing the future. And now, my friend, the daddy, the whopper, when you can observe your thoughts, you realize that you are not your thoughts. Many people think they are their thoughts, but you are not. So when you do this, you realize that you are the observer of your thoughts, the presence observing your thoughts. And that gives you some distance and space and detachment from them. You can look at a thought and go, that sounds like my mother. That's not even mine. Or, there's a voice in my head saying all manner of nasty shit to me. And then you can choose not to pay attention to it, not to believe it anymore. So this attitude of the observer is your point of power, where you begin to master your mind and master your emotions. And this is the path to inner peace. Nice. So I hope that you'll give the evening review a try. Do it every night before you go to sleep, and you will begin to raise your awareness, get off autopilot, and improve the quality of your life. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Now, before I go, I want to offer you another top-down practice that is excellent for cultivating the attitude of the detached observer, mastering your mind and emotions, and also making that connection to higher spiritual energies. And that is the daddy of top-down. I'm talking about meditation. So if you don't meditate already, I recommend that you download my free quick start guide to doable meditation. In this guide, I provide really simple, no-fuss instructions on how to meditate, and I'm talking meditation that takes as little as 5 minutes per day. It also includes tips to make sure you can fit it into your day and to move past any resistance you might feel about starting a daily meditation practice. And it's in the daily part of that sentence there, the daily meditation practice, that is where the magic happens. And when you really begin to feel the benefits, you want to be meditating every single day. And most of us have resistance to that. So in my guide, I talk about how to get past that resistance and give you tips to make meditation a daily thing so that you can really benefit from it and notice the benefits in your life. And believe me, even 5 minutes a day will get you going and you will notice the benefits. So if you've been thinking about it and humming and hawing or dabbling and meditating sporadically, I hope that you'll download this guide and give daily meditation a go, as meditation is the technique to enable you to raise your awareness and become the master of your mind, and even more importantly, to foster that all-important spiritual contact that is going to have an amazing top-down effect on your life. So you can get my free quick start guide to doable meditation at theinspirationcloud.com/SYO82. That's the number 82. So that's the inspirationcloud.com/SYO82. And I will put a link in the show notes. And also don't forget to check out my Better Than Happy Zone membership too, as that is full of top-down techniques to raise your awareness and to help you move forward on your spiritual path. So that is betterthanhappyzone.com. Okay, my friend, that's all for today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really do appreciate it. So take care, and I will see you next week. Bye for now. Thanks so much for listening and for sharing this podcast and for subscribing and leaving me a lovely 5-star review on iTunes. Those things really help to get the podcast out there so that it can serve more people. If you have any questions or would like me to address a certain topic, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at info@theinspirationcloud.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.